being said, I'm going to start recording. Good morning, everyone. Again, I am so excited to see my friends here just before the holidays. Welcome to the very last chapter leadership workshop of 2023 as we are preparing for some amazing things for you in 2024. I want to make sure that everyone is aware registration is open for the 35th Annual Women in Aviation International Conference. So if you have not yet registered, make sure you're taking advantage of those early bird discounts and getting your registration in. Also, be very, very, very cognizant of the fact that we have taken over the Marriott Orlando World Center and rooms are going very quickly. So even though it's only mid-December, we want to make sure that all of those of you that are planning to attend have accommodations and a great place to stay for your experience for the 2024 conference. With that being said, I am going to share my screen here. If I could make sure and get a thumbs up really quickly that that is working. All right, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Now I have to figure out why it went away on, there we go. All right, as always, Women in Aviation International, we are here to connect, engage, and inspire with each other. It's really what it comes down to, right? It comes down to us and our communities and these networks and connections that we're making, and the impacts that we are able to have on our communities by utilizing the power of ourselves. So today we are going to be talking about, I'm willing to share this with you, effective delegation. And please understand, as we are going through this PowerPoint, I nor my chapter are perfect at this either. We have several things that I learned as I was putting this together that we will be utilizing in our chapter here. So volunteers, you know, we're always looking for volunteers because we're extremely active in our communities and we are pulling off these Girls in Aviation days that are changing lives and hosting scholarship writing sessions and resume writing sessions and then going out into the community and volunteering and participating in things there. So how do we delegate? We have our volunteers, we have our core group of people, we've started to get to know them, we're bringing in new people all the time. Effective delegation is a potentially challenging aspect of building your team. You've got your group of leaders, and your job as the manager can evolve into entrusting them with new roles instead of having to do everything yourselves. One of the things that we don't want to see out of our chapter leaders is burnout. You know, we all have lives, we all have things that are going on. You know, and as we get older, those things get a little bit more complicated as we're dealing with being caregivers, whether that be to our children or our pets or our parents. You know, life just gets hectic. So instead of taking everything on yourself, find these people who are going to be really great at doing those things. There are two major challenges for effective volunteer delegation. Can anyone guess what the biggest challenge of effective delegation might be for a manager or a leader? It's letting go of control. We all want everything to be this perfect vision of what we had in our heads and it's going to be. And, you know, sometimes it's just not that. You know, we're used to doing our Girls in Aviation Day in a certain way, and we've got these new volunteers, and these new volunteers have these ideas that we're kind of like, maybe not. They're going to pull it off. As long as you are effectively delegating, you've got to know how to delegate effectively so that you're picking the right people for the right place and you're entrusting them to move forward. You know, we have to be go-getters that are letting go. People in aviation and aerospace, I hear all the time that we are just type A personalities. That's who we are. And all of the type A personalities together in one room creates a really fun and amazing environment, and sometimes challenging. It can be a great thing in our careers because we know that you know, it takes a certain personality to do a certain type of thing, but it can also make it really tough for us to have that letting go and letting other people take more responsibility and not feeling like we need to do everything ourselves. The conversation that we were having just a little bit before we started recording, Young, about always saying yes. That's a lot of us in this industry. We say yes, we take on those new challenges, we do those new things, but when it gets to be too much, we get tired. So if you add thoughtful delegation techniques, you will build confidence in both yourself and your team because you're making the right decision, putting those people in the right place. Why is delegation so important? When you're working with volunteers, you've got to have efficiency and time management, but that's not the only couple of issues that are at stake when poor delegation might occur. While if I was a paid staff member, I may be willing to take on an extra project or, operate in an environment that may be less than ideal for me, but I'm getting paid. So I'm going to do that. Volunteers, not so much. They're going to say, hey, thanks for having me today. I appreciate it. It was a fun time. And then you're never going to see those volunteers again. Frustrations that tend to arise for volunteers are things like lack of information and communication. Maybe they're given assignments that they didn't necessarily volunteer for. I recently had someone tell me that they were voluntold that they were on an officer just simply because they managed to show up to the meeting. And that's never what we want to see. We want to see people that are ready to take on the responsibility and the role and the amazing things that they can be doing and that they have the time in their lives. That's the next thing, personal constraints. There are times that even something comes up and we have to step down in the middle of our officership and say, hey, I can't effectively be your chapter treasurer right now because I have other things that are going on. Again, I have to go take care of my parents, or I've got a job transition and I just really need to focus on that, or I'm working on some additional licenses. Again, I'm seeing a lot of chapter leaders, new chapter leaders, because again, it's election time, new chapter leaders that are coming in for exactly that reason. And the presidents that are the outgoing presidents have managed to recruit and find these groups of people that are willing to step in when they need to step out. When tasks are repeated or redone because no clear instructions were given, I'm going to be so frustrated with you by the time I've done it the fifth time. We had a plan and we need to follow the plan, or, it's utter chaos in my mind. When I have to redo things, that's probably my biggest pet peeve. I like to do it once, do it right, and have it over with. Again, type A personalities, and your volunteers are type A personalities too, because it's all us. So make sure that we are meeting them where they need to be. And then when processes change regularly, we can't make up our minds. When we're not following our own bylaws and meeting the needs of our membership, then that is going to be a source of frustration, and you're going to see a loss of your dedicated volunteers if those things are happening. So the first thing that we need to do is be dedicated to delegation. We need to know our team. Take time to go with your officers out to lunch or out to dinner for our standard chapters. One of our student chapters, Elizabeth Resch down in Oklahoma, she used to take her new incoming leadership team for a weekend. They would all get like an Airbnb type thing and stay at a cabin and plan for their next school year and get to know each other, do those team building things. And that makes so much more of a tight knit community when you're doing that. Make sure that you are organized, that you have all of your ducks in a row when you're approaching your volunteers. You know what your ask is, and you can give them a detailed description instead of kind of, I don't know, we're doing girls, go stand over there and, welcome people. That's not the best. We want to make sure that they know what they're doing and that they have all of the information. Provide clear instructions and expectations. We're also going to fully explain context and concepts. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we here? What is our passion, our mission, our vision? What is it that we're doing here? And what concept are we trying to accomplish with this specific thing? if I've got a panel that we've been invited to at a school and we're going to go in and talk, or I've got a booth at an air show, what am I doing? Am I trying to get members? Am I trying to talk to our junior members? You know, who is it? And let me know the programs. Did you know that King Schools has some free lessons for our junior members with that junior membership program? You know, those little things really, really help. And then making sure that we are always available to be a resource, because we have the experience, we have the knowledge, we know what's going on with the event. Either text me or let me know what's going on. My chapter, again, our big event here in New Mexico is Girls in Aviation Day, because we cover an entire state. So it's not normal for me to get people to come in from 6 or 7 hours away and have those volunteers. But as we're doing that, they've got my cell phone number. You know, I usually am the person that does setup and tear down, along with my team. And then I kind of man the booth. I don't actually do the day for Girls in Aviation Day, because we actually have a separate booth going on at the event. So making sure that people know that you have availability for them at any point in time. When we're empowering our team, the first thing that we need to do is make sure that we are prepared. Assigning the task, making sure that the people who are volunteering know what they're volunteering for, they know what the task is, and confirming their understanding of the task. You know, what is the expectation of the result here? Make sure you've got commitment from them. You know, are they like, okay, yeah, I'll do that, no problem? Or are they like, hey, yes, I will absolutely take this task. I would love to go to talk to all of the businesses in town and see if we can gain some extra sponsorships. I'm totally into that. I personally am not the best sponsorship finder, because I always feel a little like, hey, here you go. So, but there is someone out there that is better at that than me. And so they take care of that for us. Coach the person as they're doing the task. And this, again, applies not only in your volunteer role or your chapter leadership role, this applies to you as a leader in your daily life. Make sure that we are coaching people and that they are getting all of the feedback that they need from us on the project that they're doing, so that we can avoid that task being returned to us. Either returned to us to do, or returned to us maybe in an unsatisfactory manner that now we get to redo anyway. Require accountability. One of the best things that I think that we have for resources for our officers in particular is the board commitment letter, the officer commitment letter that's there on our chapter resources page, as well as the officer responsibilities that you can tailor to your chapter. So those two things combined, you have an officer or a leader that's walking into a position, they know exactly what it is that they're doing, and that we are going to hold them to a certain standard, because we want this event to well represent Women in Aviation International as a whole, and our chapter here locally, because we're trying to get new members and we're trying to get new active people. And then reflect on your results and celebrate your success. Have an after. What went well? What could we do better next year? And gosh, you know, I really love this specific thing. So we usually do 2 positives and a challenge when we get together and talk about things. And again, that's in my daily life as well, when we're on the schedulers and dispatchers committee doing the conference for 2024. This is something that we sit down and we talk about. Okay, we did this really well, and maybe this we can look at next year so that we can provide a better experience. For step 3, grow your team's capabilities. Make sure that you've got aids provided. All of those things that Annie and I put into the Girls in Aviation Day host event kit, or event host kit, were all volunteer guidelines, emergency procedures, all of those things. Make sure that they have their checklists and their sheets. Are we signing people in? Here's how you use our Eventbrite, and here's how you register and get the demographics off of our attendees. Make it safe to fail. We are all human, and everything is not going to be perfect every single time. But if your team knows that if something might go wrong, that you're right there behind them to help them, that it's a learning moment for them, and that from this comes great things because we now know not to ever do that one thing again. They're going to appreciate that. They're going to, again, you're learning as a leader, they're learning as a leader. Give everybody a little bit more leeway. And then make sure that you've got time for check-ins. You know, is it a big event that we're hosting? Are we doing a gala? Do we need to have a monthly check-in up until 2 months beforehand? And then we need to have a weekly check-in. You know, what is our schedule? When you're growing your team's capabilities, don't swoop into the rescue. Let your volunteers take on the challenges. You've believed in their abilities to put them into the position that they're in. They are absolutely capable of making those decisions and facing those challenges and maybe coming up with ideas that we never would have thought of. Allow them the space to learn and to grow. And then that's when they gain confidence. They're going to become this phenomenal volunteer for you that is so enthusiastic and engaged with Women in Aviation International, because again, we're taking the time to invest and let them grow. This is a little chart that I saw from Volunteer Pro as I was doing my research, and I really, really liked it. So all of those things that we just talked about, providing the job aids and supports, making it safe to fail, setting a check-in, and don't come to the rescue. I thought this was a really good graphic as well, because this is, you know, kind of talking about who it is that we have for volunteers. Do we have the person who's just waiting to be told what to do? You know, everyone needs worker bees, right? We all have those people that just want to come in, they want to do an assignment, and they want to go home. They don't want that leadership. You know, asking what to do and how to do it, they're a little more involved in the process. And then, you know, we're growing them. Now they're involved and engaged. So now they want to know where they need to be and how to do things. Or they've gained enough confidence now as a volunteer that they're now recommending actions and waiting for approval from the leadership team to implement it, because they know the correct chain of command to make these kinds of changes. We then have the person who's ready to take independent action because we've gained enough trust in that person that we are allowing them to be, I guess, unsupervised or take on this role completely on their own. And then if anything should go wrong, then we have confidence that they're going to advise us immediately. We then have those leaders that we've grown that act independently and update us at agreed upon intervals. You know, again, we've set these meetings, so we're going to let them run with whatever specific task they've got. And then once a month, we'll check in and they'll tell us what they've done. And we'll see how that, make sure that everything fits and aligns and the whole team is aware of it. And the last is you've now got your leader. These are the people who are stepping into chapter leadership roles. They're acting independently and ready to report at the end or when there's a problem. We know that these people can absolutely handle anything that's thrown at them. And like I said, I think that applies to employees as well. So that's part of the reason that I really like this graphic. Pardon me. Last is volunteer growth with your direction. Your volunteer team will be one of the most powerful assets that your chapter can have. Make sure that we're having patience and you're giving yourself grace. Developing these teams take time. It takes time to shape them and get them up that ladder that we just looked at to where they're ready to be those independent and confident volunteers. And then, you know, it takes time to find people that are ready to just jump into those leadership roles, because responsibility for a volunteer role, we're not getting paid for this. Sometimes that's a bit of a challenge. When you find your potential leaders, make sure that you are empowering them with clear communication and that they have your utmost confidence. We know that these people who are volunteering already love Women in Aviation International. And with your help and your leadership as a volunteer coordinator, it only increases their dedication. They are seeing the product of their work and their pride in this product and their pride in being a part of this organization come to fruition. And they know that they're truly making a difference. So to kind of wrap up, we need to make sure that we're doing these things. We need to make sure that we're assessing our needs and our resources. You know, what is it that we need as a volunteer group? Do we need to have a committee for Girls in Aviation Day? Do we need to have a committee for, you know, event planning? And then that committee handles all of those actions and brings them back to the chapter. Make sure that we're matching skills and interests. Again, I'm not good at going door to door and asking for sponsorships, but I have people that really are. So I would rather be maybe the person who helps organize the event and get all the things and dress up our holiday party as Buddy the Elf. That's more my speed. Make sure that we're communicating clearly and respectfully, that even when there is a challenge, that we can admit, hey, that is a challenge, or I'm so sorry that that happened, and that we're handling it in a very respectful manner. And then delegate your authority and your accountability. You know these people, you know how they are going to be best to impact the areas of focus for the chapter. And then lastly, evaluate it, appreciate it, and celebrate it. You know, when things go wrong behind the scenes, no one knows. That's the great thing about it. Your leadership team may know, oh my gosh, registration was a little bit crazy and we lost the internet, so we had to move over to paper, and that wasn't, now we've got to do all this. Your attendees have no idea. They had the best day ever, experimenting and exploring and doing all the things that you've provided for them there, or enjoying a wonderful dinner and a night of dancing, or you know, whatever it is. Remember to celebrate. Everything is a win when we're reaching out into our community and doing the things that we're doing. I just want to remind you, there are some great, great tools out there for volunteers. When I'm putting these leadership sessions together, Volunteer Pro is one of my absolute go-tos. They have fantastic articles and a lot of resources available to us. There is a really interesting blog that I put on here from blackbod.com, and it's why and how to manage your volunteer program professionally and make sure that we are engaging those volunteers in a manner which they expect. And then MSU actually has a 4-parter on volunteer managers and delegation, and that is free. So I would highly recommend going and taking a look at that. 100% free from Michigan State University. I read through the articles quickly in the last few days, but it's definitely something that I've got bookmarked and will be referring to often for our leadership things. And then again, remember, we've got tools out there that'll help. Project management boards such as Trello, Cheddar Up. I have got to get in there and really explore that thing and put a video up on the Facebook page for you all. I did some more exploring this week with Cheddar Up for a potential chapter that we have forming right now. Their platform has expanded significantly to the point that it helps you manage your members and their expiration dates, like for your membership team, and will help send out reminders. It manages your payments for you, both fundraising payments as well as any of your membership dues. It's a really cool program, and it's free, which is my favorite price. So I want to wish everyone the happiest of holidays. I hope that you have a wonderful time with friends and family and, get to do all of the things that you wanted to do for Christmas. As always, if you need anything at all, Rory and I are always at your disposal. You'll see in your upcoming magazine, we do have a brand new team member for the membership team. Her name is Olivia Stansel. She is absolutely fantastic. She's a longtime WAI member, and she is going to be helping you as a member with any of your registration or renewing memberships or any of those things, you're going to start seeing some communications from Olivia. So we want to welcome her. She's a very, very much loved already part of the team. With that, I am going to stop sharing my screen. Does anyone have any questions? Can I copy paste the links that I just showed into the chat so I can have access? Absolutely. Let me do that for you right now.
I don't have a question, but I just have to say thank you so much, Jesse. This is my first one of these I've sat in on, and like I'm just like, oh my God, this is great. I need to come to all of them. Just such great information, so relevant to I feel like the things that our chapter is trying to deal with, trying to figure out how do we get everything done, how do we keep people engaged, how do we not overwhelm ourselves. So just big thanks for this. I'm like definitely gonna be like, okay, I need to go like think about how we can apply this.
You are so very welcome. And I mean, sometimes it's just a step back, Kelsey. If trying to get everybody together once a month is not working, maybe do a virtual every other month, and do a lunch and learn or a happy hour or a learning module. If everybody's not to get together in person, or maybe it doesn't need to be a monthly meeting. Maybe it's a bi-monthly or every 3 months. And, as long as you're meeting the needs of your membership, you'll see yourselves start to grow. Just sometimes figuring out what the right formula is the challenge, isn't it? Yeah. You're so welcome. It's my pleasure. And welcome. Welcome to the team. You've got some wonderful, wonderful chapter leaders here. From all over the place. We've got some international chapter leaders as well. We're excited to see today. So, as well as just longtime members, I could not be more blessed. And I just have to say that. I don't know. I'm being recorded here, so I should probably stop with that. But I'm so thankful to be here with you all. And it's the holiday season, so I reflect back a little bit on that.
I just had a question. This is my first meeting too, so really appreciate it. Kelsey and I are actually in the same chapter, so echo what she said. But you mentioned, was it cheddar box or what was that?
Cheddar up.
Oh.
Cheddar up.
Okay.
Let me see if I
that
can.
That sounds like an amazing resource. I just didn't see
you.
it on the slide, so I wanted to make sure and take that back. I don't think our chapter uses it, but that sounds like a great resource for us.
As soon as I am able to get the time to really explore this, I did one on Trello and I put it up on the chapter Facebook page a few months ago. I did a quick run through. It's more of a project management than it is, but it definitely would apply. I've got some chapters that did take it up and use it, and they seem to be really successful with it. Awesome. But I'm always kind of trying to, oh, that did not work. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm always trying to figure out new things for you all. Again, we are absolutely 100% volunteer organizations. Anything that I can find for you also benefits my chapter. And, it makes us that much stronger. So let me get onto this website and I will post it. Anything for anyone else? Any questions or comments that I can help with while I'm trying to get this silly website to come up?
Hi, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Nina. I was late to the meeting because I just saw the email, but my name is Nina Dakin, and I'm currently a commercial student at Melbourne Flight Training.
Oh, welcome. Welcome, Nina. We're so glad to have you. This is a really long link that I just posted, but that'll take you to Cheddar Up. There are paid options, but there are also definitely free options for that program. Nina, I welcome you. And there are several, like I said, there are new leaders. We've got fresh faces. We've got long-term faces that we know and love so much. And I hope that all of you have just the best holiday. And with that, I'm going to stop recording.